Marco found the listing at 3 a.m. House for rent, 47 Mancini Street. $400 per month. Immediate availability. In a city where studios cost triple that, it was impossible. But his eviction notice gave him 2 weeks, and impossible was all he had left. Signor Ferretti, the gaunt landlord, met him outside. The house was a narrow 3-story structure, its facade crumbling, windows dark even in daylight. "Nobody's lived here for 12 years, Ferretti said. The previous tenants left suddenly. He handed Marco ancient keys. "First month free if you last 30 days. Most don't make it past 3. Why so cheap? The Rossetti family lived here. Parents and their daughter, Chiara. She was 7 when they disappeared. Police found nothing, no bodies, no blood. They simply vanished." He paused. "The girl's room is on the 3rd floor. I'd avoid it." Marco should have walked away. Instead, he took the keys. The first night, Marco woke at 3:47 a.m. to footsteps above his head. Light, child-sized, pacing for exactly 7 minutes before stopping. In the morning, he researched the Rossettis. The family had been Normal Antonio, an accountant, Sophia, a teacher, Chiara, a 2nd grader who loved drawing. They vanished October 15th, 12 years ago. Police found half-eaten dinner on the table, Chiara's homework unfinished on her desk. They were simply gone. The footsteps came every night at 3:47 a.m., sometimes accompanied by humming, once by crying. On the 6th night, Marco decided to confront whatever haunted the 3rd floor. At 3:30 a.m., Marco climbed to the 3rd floor. The hallway light refused to work. Using his phone's flashlight, he found 3 doors. 2 stood open and empty. The 3rd, marked Chiara's room, was closed. His hand was on the doorknob when his phone died. Not low battery, just dead. In the darkness, he heard breathing that wasn't his own. Then footsteps behind him, climbing the stairs. Small footsteps, dragging something. Marco twisted the doorknob and fell inside. The door slammed shut. His phone flickered back to life, showing 3:47 a.m. The room was exactly as Chiara had left it: bed, stuffed animals, desk with school books. But the walls were covered in drawings that weren't childish at all. Stick figures with too many limbs, faces stretched in agony. Houses with windows like eyes, doors like screaming mouths. Written repeatedly across every drawing. "IT knows my name. I sin the walls. 47474747, I drew them to warn people," a voice said. A translucent girl stood by the desk. Chiara Rossetti, still 7, still trapped. "The address isn't random," Chiara said. In numerology, 47 is a doorway between worlds. Something lives here. It feeds on families, takes them piece by piece until there's nothing left. It took you all at once. No. Over weeks. First, our reflections moved wrong. Then our shadows stopped matching. Then our memories changed. Dad forgot his sister existed. Mom couldn't remember her maiden name. By the time we disappeared, we were copies. The real us had been consumed. She pointed at scratches on the walls, names and dates of other tenants. The house stores people. You can hear them in the walls, still conscious, trapped forever. The walls began to bulge. Marco heard whispers, dozens of voices begging, warning, screaming. How do I get out? You can't. Not from this room. You have maybe an hour before it starts taking pieces of you. What if I burn it down? The house is just a shell. The thing exists in the foundation itself, in the geometry of 47. Destroy this building and it waits for another. Kiara's expression shifted. There might be one way. The thing prefers whole families. It's been hungry since it took us. If you could trick it with a fake family, make it gorge itself too quickly. It chokes. Draw a family. Make them real in your mind. Art has power here because the house feeds on imagination. Make them detailed enough, and the house will try to consume them instead of you. Marco grabbed crayons and drew on the blank walls. A father, mother, 2 children, the Moretti family. He gave them names, histories, jobs, dreams. The father collected stamps. The mother played piano. The daughter loved mathematics. The son wanted to be an astronaut. The walls shook violently. More, Kiara urged. Marco drew them standing in front of number 47, moving in, happy and whole and unaware. The house screamed. The drawings peeled off the wall, assembling into 3-dimensional figures. The Moretti family stood before Marco, perfect and detailed and aware. What have you done? The father said. We're not real. The walls lunged inward. The house consumed them in seconds. It had been 12 years since a full meal. The sudden influx was too much. The house convulsed, walls buckling, plaster falling. Run! Kiara screamed. Marco ran. He took the stairs 3 at a time, burst through the front door as number 47 collapsed. But people walked past unconcerned. A woman pushed a stroller past the collapsing facade without looking. Marco looked at his hands. They were translucent. I'm sorry, Kiara said. The Moretti family was made from pieces of you, your imagination, creativity, hope. When the house consumed them, it consumed those parts too. Marco felt himself fading. Then what am I? A ghost, like me. But look, from the rubble, dozens of translucent figures emerged, all the previous victims freed from the walls. They nodded thanks and faded, released. You freed them, Kiara said, but we stayed too long in the heart of it. We're part of the house now. Within 3 days, the house stood restored. A new listing appeared. House for rent, 47 Mancini Street. Euro 400 month. Marco and Kiara exist in the spaces between seconds now, intervening when tenants stay too long, making noises, moving objects, trying to drive them away. Mostly it works, but sometimes someone stays. Someone enters Kiara's room. Someone tries to outsmart the house. And then there are 3 ghosts, then 4, then 5. Tonight, Marco watches a young woman examine the listing outside. He can see the desperation in her eyes. Don't, he whispers. Please don't. But she's already calling, already sealing her fate. Together with Kiara, they wait for her to walk through the door, knowing they'll try everything to save her, knowing it probably won't be enough. because that's all ghosts can do. Hope, and warn the next tenant who trusts a deal too good to be true. Number 47 is hungry again.